we looked at the macro about what bibliotherapy is all about and what are some of the benefits, etc., of bibliotherapy, I'd like to really drill down now into the specific steps that we're going to look at. First of all, we have the pre-reading, which we allow the students to pre-read the text and to have an understanding about the content. Then we have guided reading, which allows the students, which provides them with various kinds of questions, points for discussion within the text. Third, it's the post-reading discussion, which is a group discussion which follows the guided reading, where now we have certain focal points which will help us address some of the issues at hand. And finally, we come to the problem-solving and reinforcement activity, which in effect is the essence of the whole session, which here we focus on problem solving. What are some of the possibilities of addressing the issues at hand from the literature, and what does that mean for me as a student? What I'd like to share with you is what I think is a very practical and very valuable strategy for implementing bibliotherapy in a classroom. And there's an acronym here of iSolve, and we use this as an opportunity to provide teachers with very specific guidelines about how to approach bibliotherapy. I, identify the problem. What is the problem that we'd like to focus on? S, what are some of the solutions to the problem? Multiple solutions to the problem. And here I'm emphasizing, underscoring the plural here, solutions, not one solution and not valuing one solution over the other, but providing a variety of different solutions. O, obstacle to solutions. If I want to take on this particular solution, what are some of the obstacles that I have to be aware of, and what are some of the obstacles that I have to deal with? L, I have to look at the solutions. I have to choose one from this whole process. I then have to, V for very good, try it. In other words, I have to experiment with it. I have to see if it works for the student as well. And finally, I have to evaluate the outcome, not only for me as an educator, but more importantly, I want to do this for my students, that they become attuned to the importance of evaluation and that they themselves take on the opportunity to evaluate what are the outcomes of adopting one kind of solution. So this acronym, this strategy of iSolve, I think is very practical, very wise, and very helpful. Now, when we talk about bibliotherapy in the particular context of biblical text, it's different than bibliotherapy, as we mentioned earlier, and other kinds of modern texts or whatever. The benefits of bibliotherapy and biblical text are, first of all, engagement. We can find it very engaging because this increases, this heightens the sense of engagement on the part of the student. Two, it's relevant, as we discussed earlier. The relevance for the individual, for the student here is critical, and using bibliotherapy in that sense engages our students and makes the whole discussion relevant for their lives. Sharing ideas. We are exploiting the group format. We are sharing different kinds of ideas, different types of solutions. And we are creating a learning community. We are creating a community that trusts each other. And as I mentioned earlier, we don't advise any educator to go into this enterprise unless they feel very strongly that there is a safe place, that there is a sense of a learning community where students will feel secure, where they will feel comfortable sharing some of their thoughts. At the same time, I want to cite several cautions when we use bibliotherapy in teaching biblical text. The role of the text. What is the role of the text? Is the text here a trigger? Is that something that we want to endorse? Possibly, possibly not, but we have to know what is the role of the text in this whole enterprise. Is it just a trigger, or is it an opportunity to go into the issues in greater depth? Two, my qualifications as a teacher, as an educator. I have to feel comfortable. I have to feel that this is something worthwhile and that this is something that I feel I want to take on and that I feel that I can do this in a professional and responsible way. And finally, I have to try as much as possible to consider unexpected outcomes. What that means is that certain topics like divorce, we believe that divorce is a critical topic to be discussed in education. At the same time, if I feel that there is an unexpected outcome where there is some particular sensitivities in the class, I would say avoid the topic of divorce at this point in time. So those are some of the cautions that we present to the educators. Those are some of the benefits, but we now want to move ahead and to look at an example of how you might take a biblical text and use it within a bibliotherapy strategy. Thank you.